beautiful. And do you feel that when you start exposing the power dynamic and guiding your clients to evaluate their real needs and their desires, that you have couples or men where they don't want to reveal themselves, like they don't want to reveal the truth, but you're obviously picking up on it on some level. And just curious how you navigate that and how
so it's really I love this question. He makes such great questions. So there are needs, wants, desires, and fears. And we have all of these needs, wants, desires, and fears. And so to figure out what the difference between those things are, because sometimes our fear is like the fear of asking for what you desire. What is it that you're afraid of? Because most of the time people will say rejection. Well, that's a negative answer. You're afraid of a no, because that will give you rejection, isolation, humiliation. I get that. But there's also the fear of the yes, because now you have expectation, right? And so figuring out, yes, I have this desire. Is it a desire? Because if you ask for it and you get it, do you really want this? Or is this a fantasy? Let's understand that. And so sometimes there will be couples, you'll get the very typical, one wants sex all the time and the other never wants it. And it's like, how are we going to navigate this between all the time and never? This is terrible. And so again, we're going to turn this into a math problem because we got to make things linear. And so I will ask them, how many times do you masturbate in a month on average? And they'll say, well, every other day, every third day, maybe. Great. That's a 10. How about you? Well, I don't know, maybe 6 times in a month. Great. You're a 10, you're a 6. Now we've got something solid we can work with instead of all the time and never, right? And so I am of the belief that love your neighbor as yourself also means that if you love yourself 10 times in a month, that's not every day. You don't want it all the time every day. You want it 10 times in a month. And so love your neighbor as yourself. I would say a relationship is a 50-50 split. So half of those is 5 and half of 6 is 3. So now how many times are we apart? The difference between 5 and 3. So can you love each other 2 more times in a month? Absolutely, that's easy. That's not going to solve your problem because it's not about sex. And so I answered their question from the beginning because this all the time and never is all that they argue about. So here you go. This is simple, done. Is that going to make you happy? Will you be satisfied? Will you have more moments of joy? It depends on what you do. If it's just 5 more minutes of sex, that is not going to do it. But if you increase your level of intimacy, if you find out what your love languages are, if you find the language that you're starving for, then yes. 2 more times, 2 big doses of love in your language. Now you're treading on fulfillment and satisfaction and contentment because you have more recognition of what it is that you need, not what you think you want.
Yeah.